I bought this hoarder house that was originally a church, which got converted to a huge single-family home. Now we're converting it to a 7-bedroom student rental. I'm Alan Abbas from Windsor, Ontario, and I purchased this property for $400,000 with private financing. In this video, I'm going to tell you guys how I found the deal, how I financed the deal, and what we're doing with renovations in order to maximize value and refinance and BRRRR it. When I first looked into this property, it was very misleading. I was checking it out on Google Maps and all I could see was the front face of the building, and it looked like a tiny home. It wasn't until I got here on site I realized how massive this property really is. This property has massive potential. It could easily be 4 or 5 units. We've decided to keep it as a student rental. We have 7 bedrooms on the main and upper floor, not even including the basement where we can add another 4 or 5 bedrooms. So all in all, it could be over 10 bedrooms, and the best part is it's sitting on 2.5 lots. Where I'm standing is actually a whole different lot, and then there's a half lot behind the home. When I was negotiating with the seller, I was thinking I would either wholesale it or flip it. But since I'm a deal junkie, I realized how massive the value is, and I just couldn't pass this one up for my portfolio, so I'm keeping it long term. This place has massive opportunity for a severance, new build on this lot, finishing the basement, adding 4 or 5 bedrooms, perhaps even adding an ADU on the other side on the other half lot. Let's head inside and check it out. As I mentioned, this used to be a church. Someone converted it a long time ago to a residential home. That's why it's got a funky layout, kind of like a raised ranch, because you have this landing or foyer here, and then you go to the basement or you come up. But also there is a bathroom on the main foyer landing. So that's different. And then when you walk in, usually a raised ranch, it's just up and down. But we actually have a loft right above us. So that's why I'm saying it's 1.5 meets a ranch. I don't think this is a real type of home. This is just a church that was converted, and this is what the previous owners did. Now, when I first purchased it, this place was just stacked from the floor to the ceiling. It was just covered. You could barely squeeze by. As I mentioned, it was a hoarder. It took us 10 full bins to clear this place out, and it cost us almost $10,000. So now that's all empty. We've started to make some progress on it. This was just empty space over here. We decided to frame it in, utilize the space, maximize the value, add an additional bedroom. The window was in the hallway. We had to move it into the room. Now what you don't see is there was already 2 existing bedrooms, one over here and one over there. So now that we added this one, 3rd bedroom plus the loft. In the back half, this is only the front half. The back half is basically its own unit. It's just missing a kitchen. It already had 2 bedrooms with a partial loft. Now we're gonna keep the 2 bedrooms. We framed in a 3rd bedroom, so that'll be 3 beds, 1 bath with its own kitchen. The reason why I jumped on this deal is I noticed underneath all the hoarding, underneath all the junk, there was tremendous value. 80 to 90% of the renovations were already completed. So I knew if I got rid of all the junk, there's only 10 to 20% of renovations left. For example, this kitchen is perfectly fine. Cabinets are in good shape, countertop is decent. There's no need to replace it. It's gonna be a student rental. It's not gonna be a flip or anything luxurious. It's perfectly fine the way it is. We're just updating the bathrooms. This is a common entrance for the front unit and the back unit. So that's that. And then we enter here, we're in a whole nother unit. So this unit has its own entrance all the way in the back corner there, and it already had 2 existing rooms. Now this place was especially packed. You really couldn't walk through, full of building material, full of junk. Again, we cleared it all out. Then we can see how massive it was. It already had 2 existing bedrooms here. We framed this one in to add another 3rd bedroom. Again, as a student rental, it's all about how many bedrooms you have. More bedrooms, more cash flow. And then you have this loft. We're probably just gonna leave it open or just close it off for safety reasons. Not much we can do there because there's no access, there's no window. So it is what it is. We're gonna put a kitchen here in this corner. We got a massive bathroom here, and this is the common entrance down here for the back unit and for the basement. So you can access the basement from the front or the back, which is really nice to have. And the basement, we'll head there in a moment. 10-foot ceilings, above grade windows, which are egress. Right now it's unfinished. There used to be a unit down there, so there could be 2 or 3 units down there. But once again, as a student rental, we're probably gonna end up adding 4 or 5 bedrooms down the line. It's not the plan immediately. So let's head down to the basement and check it out. Okay, we're here in the basement. Here's the utility room. We have 1 electrical panel and a sub panel for the whole house. We have an old furnace that needs to get replaced, hot water tank that's not hooked up. And over here, there was a finished bathroom here that needs to be redone. We're just keeping it like that for the time being. And we have all this open space. So originally I was thinking to keep this back half that we just walked through as 1 unit and then put 1 or 2 units up here. But once again, it would just be a pain in the butt and very, very costly to rip out all the electrical and separate it and go through the whole rezoning process. For now, it's a matter of getting out of the private financing that we've obtained, which is very expensive. So the game plan is do minimal renovations, get it up and running as a student rental, at least for the top, so we could refinance, get cheaper financing, pull out some equity, and then down the road we can add more rooms to the basement, increase the cash flow, potentially refinance again. And once again, 2.5 lots here, so eventually we can do a severance or do a build. We're gonna have to go through the municipality, get architects, designers involved in that process and see what the highest and best use is for this property. With real estate, it's all about maximizing value, and the way you do that is through the highest and best use of each property. One of the main reasons I decided to buy this property is because of the massive potential of the basement, which is humongous, covers the whole footprint of the building. It's got like 10-foot ceilings or so. You could barely touch the joists with this clipboard. And you have windows above grade, allowing a lot of natural light in. They're egress size. Someone can climb out of there in an emergency. Again, you have this exit, the exit that we just came down. Ton of potential here. A lot of the work's already done. The wall's already framed down here. The insulation's already in. Seller left behind some valuable materials, a lot of drywall, a lot of wood, among some other things. So ton of potential here. This is what I look for. Me personally, I never buy properties that are turnkey because you're buying it at top dollar. I like to buy things that are run down, that are hoarder houses, dilapidated houses, places that need a lot of work because I want to buy it cheap, do the renovations, increase that value, refinance, and pull out my equity and move on to the next project. Now let's head upstairs to the loft. I'm going to tell you guys how I found this deal and get into some of the numbers. Come on in to the loft. Nice and spacious here. Most of this work was done by the previous owner. They have some nice skylights here, allows natural light. We got a bathroom back there. You got to step down another area here with some windows. This was just open railing, so we put some drywall, we're closing it off. We walk through the doorway, and this is very spacious. It could be its own unit, but it doesn't have its separate entrance, so it's gonna be a loft, part of the main house. And again, 2-3 people can easily crash here and live here comfortably. So let's talk about how I got this deal. I sent out a flyer, direct mail. The owner got it. They gave me a call. There was a bit of back and forth with the negotiation, and they were in a distressed situation, health, financial. It was full of junk because he was a hoarder. So I got it for a really good deal. They were very happy to get their hands off of this and just pay off the mortgage and move on with their lives. Now, I believe if this property were to sell on the market, once it was fully cleared out, it should be worth at least $500,000 to $600,000. So fantastic deal. In real estate, we always say you make money in the buy, which is what we've done. And the ARV, the after repair value, is tough to say depending on where we take this deal, but easily $600,000 plus. Tiny homes nearby that are 2-bed, 1-bath on a crawl space go for $300,000. So depending on the cash flow we get, it should be $600,000 to $700,000 property. And I'm not even talking about finishing the basement. I'm not talking about developing the lot next door. That will bring this property well over $1 million in total. So fantastic deal, off market as usual, direct to seller through one of our flyer campaigns. And this is what we do. This is what we do full time in Windsor, focused in Southwestern Ontario. We're always looking for deals like this. If you guys know anyone looking to sell their property off market, if we close on them, we'll pay you a referral fee. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to take you guys through the progress on this project and many others, and follow me along on Instagram as well, AlanAbbas17.